In July of this year, I packed my bags and headed to the airport, ready to embark on my first ever solo trip. My destination, on the other side of the world, the stunning country of Portugal.
So we've made it to the airport and to the gate about 2 hours ahead of time, which is good. First up we have a flight to Malaysia just to KL for a stopover about 6 hours. I don't think I'm going to do much there, but essentially I'll be flying for the next 36 hours until we get to Porto. You can already feel the clots forming in my legs. We'll also have a stopover in Turkey for about 1 hour 50 minutes. Yeah, don't know if that's long enough for a hair transplant, but might need to suss that out on the way back. Finished the first leg, made it to KL. It's about 8:20. So stuff is still open. I'm gonna try get some Burger King or something like that before it all closes. So made it through customs, made it to the gate. Got about half an hour before boarding time starts. It's about 10:20 p.m. And this will be the leg where I'm praying that there won't be any delays, because if there are, I will probably miss my next connecting flight. So yeah, hopefully on the other side we manage to make it on time. I have arrived in Istanbul at 5 a.m. in the morning. The plane was like half an hour faster than expected, so I've got about 50 minutes to get to the gate until boarding. So not as rushed as I thought it might be. I've got about 5 minutes left in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The in-flight entertainment system cut out at a rather inopportune time. Turkish delights everywhere. Nice.
After taking the light rail to Trindade station, I then faced a 15-minute walk, where my luggage's sturdiness was put to the test against the rough cobbled paths. As my accommodation was not open for check-in yet, my first stop was the famous blue-tiled walls of Sao Bento station, where I left my luggage in a locker and boarded a train.
And now I am getting ready to take the train to the Douro Valley, so should hopefully get a relaxing couple hours now after all of that.
Hoping for a light and relaxing first day following so many hours of transit, my plan was to take the train to Pinhao in the Douro Valley, the lovely wine region that supplies the port wine, whose export is famously based out of the cellars of Porto. This was a 2-hour train ride, but the idea was that I would be able to do all the sightseeing for the day without having to rack up too many steps. It was a fairly bumpy ride, and there weren't too many other passengers filling the carriage, despite it being a lovely sunny day out. The train ride took us along the Douro River, but it was only about 1 hour into the ride that the view started to become more and more impressive, with vineyard terraces lining the entire hillside facing us, some villages significantly larger than others. Finally, we reached the town of Pinhao. It wasn't the last stop on the line, but certainly one of the more popular and scenic towns. Most tourists would typically go on a river cruise or vineyard tour here, but as an infrequent consumer of wine, I plan to just walk around briefly and take in the views. As a side note, while we're here, we can note the blue and yellow edges of the number plate that's unique to Portugal. As I crossed this bridge, I caught glimpses of the many river cruises that were available, many of which without needing to book in advance, and I was very tempted to try and hop on one. I resisted the temptation, however, because I knew that I would have to catch the train back in not too long, with the trains coming rather infrequently, and I knew that if I missed the last train, I would have to fork out about €100 to get back via Uber. Furthermore, I knew that I also had other boat experiences planned for later in the trip, so I just had to be patient for now. I then made my way back across the bridge for a walk along the riverbank, looking for a spot for some lunch, but more importantly, a drink and some shelter from the sweltering heat.
Look at this! It's like a public futsal court.
I finally came across a small little restaurant where, with the help of Google Translate, I ordered a bifana, which seemed to be like a small steak sandwich, as well as some wine. I'd been known to have some itchy rash and possibly allergic reactions to wine in the past, but thought it would be rude not to try, given I was in Porto in the Douro Valley. And so I thought, let's be responsible and just try one glass.
Just came out of a little bar where I had a bifana sandwich and a glass of wine. Now I'm feeling a little sick. I don't do well with any sort of wine or alcohol. I tend to get allergic reactions. I don't think I've had one now. But I mean, look, my hand, there's a circle that's all like vasodilated or something, I don't know. My face is extremely red. This is after one glass of wine, so evidently I react pretty badly. It was nice wine though, it tasted nice. I look very red. Now I've got like an hour left until the train. I'm gonna see if I can go have like an icy bowl or something. I've done my cultural experience for the day. My legs are now starting to itch and my head is throbbing. Alright, I've got myself an icy pole and a drink. Sitting outside with this view. Just gonna spend the last hour chilling here until the train comes to pick us up. We're now heading back towards Porto Sanvento. I'm feeling incredibly sick after the alcohol. I'm pretty sure I am just straight up intolerant. Felt like I was gonna pass out, but I've managed to drag myself onto the train.
Now you might notice a massive time skip with no footage for the entire journey back home.
We finally made it to the accommodation, and you have no idea how relieved I am. That was like the worst experience I've had in a long time. I felt so sick after just one glass of wine. Like, it's not drunk, I might be intolerant or allergic to alcohol or something, because I don't understand. And then a combination of the sun, and then motion sickness in the train, and I just fully vomited. I tried to get most of it out the window, but made a bit of a mess, and then had to spend the next hour cleaning it up. So absolute embarrassment. I'm still like filthy disgusting, but at least I can go shower now. Finally made it into the accommodation. Whew. I don't normally drink alcohol, but when I do, I've never gotten to the point of needing to vomit. Never vomited from alcohol. I don't think I've vomited in a very, very long time. So this is a first.
So this is now my accommodation I'm showing you, but when I tell you I was so mortified because I'm not used to being in this situation that I sent an email inquiry to Comboios Portugal website saying, sorry guys, my bad, like I vommed on your train, like how do I get this thing cleaned up or like, you know, sanitized. I'd cleaned most of it up already using like paper towel and soap from the bathroom, but like I was so embarrassed. And then I managed to catch one of the sort of ticket inspectors and told him, showed him more like, because I couldn't speak any Portuguese, and he was just like, I mean, he obviously wasn't that impressed by it, but he was just like, nah, like that's fine, like thanks for showing me. So it was all good.
Alright, after that nightmare of a time, I am walking to try and go to the grocery to get some water, some like 2-minute noodles or something for dinner, because I don't think I can stomach anything else, and importantly some like vinegar, bleach, detergent, stain remover, the whole lot. Going to give it a go, seeing if we can get everything out. This is my depressing haul. Instead of going for a night out for dinner in the city centre, I've instead just gone to a shop Got water. Got more water. Got some bleach, I think. This, I think, is laundry detergent. Ugh, this is stain remover. This is Fanta. That's our treat. This is some vinegar. Then we've got some toothpaste to cleanse my mouth. And then this may be my dinner if I'm feeling up for it. I may not even be able to stomach that. And I've got a sponge. That is my haul. So yeah, definitely will not be drinking anymore. I spent the rest of the time like getting supplies to try and clean these stains out of my clothes. I don't, like, some of them it's worked. I think some of them I may have to throw out tomorrow. So yeah, but tomorrow I'm just gonna see how I feel when I wake up, see if I'm ready to go to, I'm meant to be going to Aveiro for a day trip, but we'll have to see how we feel. It's 9:40, I've just woken up. I am feeling better. I think we will go to Aveiro after all. I need to check on my clothes that I'm bleaching to see whether it's possible to salvage or whether I need to throw them out. Here's the view that we've got. Got the street below us. And then whenever we're ready, they prepared a nice breakfast made with love. On my way to the laundromat. It feels a lot nicer when it's sunny and I'm not covered in sick.
Along the way to the laundromat, I could now appreciate just how pretty some of the streets around the Sao Bento area were, admiring the classic box-shaped townhouses and their identical balconies that extended as far as I could see. Before long, I was back in Sao Bento station, and it was time for me to face my newfound nemesis, and brave the train once again. This train was a lot more packed than the train I had taken the previous day to Pinhao. In fact, many of these passengers were young adults, wearing similar red-coloured uniforms, apart from containing the flags of different nationalities. Speaking to one of them wearing the New Zealand flag, I found out that they were here for the World Scout Meet, which was being hosted in Portugal this year and had the base camp located along this train route. Due to my late start, by the time I reached Aveiro station it was already afternoon, and so I had no time to waste in starting to push through my itinerary for the day.
Survived a train ride with no vomiting this time. I've made it to Aveiro. I'm going to take the bus straight away to Costa Nova so that I can hopefully get to the beach before it becomes too dark, and then I can explore the rest of Aveiro city proper once I get back. Although the beach houses of Costa Nova, which is where I was headed, are among the most iconic images when you think of Aveiro, Aveiro itself is actually not by the beach, but rather situated by the Ria de Aveiro, or Aveiro Lagoon, a coastal marshland home to a variety of bird species as well as salt and seaweed extraction. The actual beachside area of Costa Nova was about 10 kilometres away by bus, and along this strip of road was an interesting interface, where you had the decently impressive lagoon on one side, but overshadowed by the abundantly colourful beach and strapped beach houses on the other side. Striped beach houses is exactly the side I wanted to see. I don't think I'm going to stay here for very long, because I'm hoping to get back to Aveiro before everything closes. So I'm actually hoping to take a bus in just like half an hour. But really this is the main side I wanted to see, so I think I'll just walk along here and then be back here in half an hour. Everything is very hilly, obviously. Not sure what building that is. Anyway, we're approaching the beach. Not long to go. So I'm on this sort of boardwalk, which helps me not get sand everywhere. And it goes all the way along.
As I only had a short time here before needing to catch the bus back, I had to speed run down the beach boardwalk and then turn around and make it back all in the space of about 15 minutes. So while I would have liked to have been able to sit around and play in the waves like everyone else, in this short time I was able to at least catch a glimpse of the famous lighthouse at Praia de Barra, the tallest lighthouse in Portugal.
In the distance there, I think that is the lighthouse of the other beach. I have no time left, but I'm just trying to run across here to see if I can make it in time for the bus. Whew. At least we get a view of the houses this way, I suppose.
I did in fact make it back in time for the bus, and on the way home was treated to further sights of some fancy looking beach houses or hotels, and a close-up view of the lighthouse. As well as these large mounds of salt at one of the plants. Due to having caught the early bus back, I now had an extra hour to cram into my packed schedule, and so I decided to skip past the fancy canals and boats for now and beeline straight for the Museum of Aveiro.
Currently walking to the Museum of Aveiro, which I wasn't really planning to go to any museums, but it seems to be one of the most highly rated attractions here. And I believe we are here, Museum of Aveiro, Santa Joana. Don't even know what this is, but a nice little square. I wasn't even planning to make it here. Luckily I managed to run for the bus and catch it on time.
This museum was located in a 15th century Catholic convent and was dedicated to Santa Joana, a princess of Portugal known for leaving the royal court to become a nun in this very convent in Aveiro. Most of the museum therefore consisted of paintings dedicated to her, but also various artifacts from the convent and paintings from different periods of Portugal's history, which were obviously very strong in Catholic imagery.
This is her leaving during the plague. This is her brother coming to persuade her to leave the convent, but she doesn't want to. Her funeral.
The highlight for me, though, was right near the entrance, where parts of the original convent were preserved, including a gold-covered Baroque-style church.
And all the choir stalls. Wow. Apparently this is where they used to have mass. Just finished at the museum. I should have known that, judging from its name, Museum of Saint Joanna, that everything there would be dedicated to her. Aveiro Palace.
My next stop was the Salt Flats, where I was hoping to see some bird life as sunset was approaching.
And there must be, right? It's holding some sort of basket.
Without a car, this meant a 20-minute walk along the canals, where I took some photos of the Moliceiro, the Portuguese equivalent of Venice's gondolas, traditionally used for harvesting seaweed, moliço, but now mainly for tourist rides.
Walking along, it's so sunny. back here. We are en route to the salt flats. Apparently there are some salt flats where you can pay to go have a dip, which I will do if they let me, and also attract some wildlife, some birds as well. Google Maps says either closing at 6 or 7. It's currently 6, and we'll see if we can actually get a spot in there or if they're already closed. We are here at the salt flats. There are people just walking on them as well. So apparently this city was built on salt essentially. There was one point where they almost all died because the lagoon like blocked up and then some disease broke out. And then they managed to revive, and when they revived it was the salt flats. Well, it was the salt that helped them. And there are still some that do the traditional sort of salt farming. Apparently you have to get here early in the morning to watch that happen. So we made it to the salt flats. I spoke to the lady inside. I say spoke, but really I just used Google Translate on my phone. Doesn't sound like you can go for a swim. I don't know if that's a seasonal thing or if it's because it's already 6 p.m. But I can't exactly see like anyone else going for a swim. But she said I can go have a walk along the flats. And that's free. I don't need to pay anything. Lots of birds zipping about. There's some people working, it looks like. It doesn't smell too salty. The salt just like laying out everywhere. And look at the colour. Look at the colour of the salt. It's so pink. There are a lot of them. I don't know what these are. What's growing here? On second thought, this is probably the pool where you can go for a swim at other times. Maybe those are the showers, but I mean, yeah, looking at it now, I'll be okay. Now, it looks like here we can actually walk like amidst all of the fields. Whoa! Okay, there's something in the water. We're now walking amidst all the salt. We're walking on some salt. Oh, that looks like a flock of birds. Oh, or am I tripping? I might be tripping. Reading this thing, it looks like May to July, which would be now, they cure the soil in a way so that crystallization of salt will occur there, and then the seawater comes into these sort of beds of cured soil and the salt crystals form, and then they take these baskets to pick them up and then leave them in those mounds that we saw. And then afterwards they have to clean this whole area in March. This whole area will get flooded. Alright, we're going to walk towards the birds now. They're probably going to fly away, and then once they do, that'll be us done. is making that sound. Lovely little mounds of salt. We've come past all of this. It's really quite vast. Sun is now setting. Now looking at the list, the only thing I had left to do really was there's some pastry stores, there's some little egg sort of snack that is famous here, so I need to try one of those. Then I might have, I'm not sure whether I have dinner here or back in Porto, so I'm still yet to have a proper dinner so far. It might be better to have it back in Porto in case the train ride makes me feel sick again, I don't know. But yeah, I'll probably have something small here, and then I might catch the train back to Porto. Here's the store. Ovos is the name of what I'm after. Right, I'm going to get some ovos moles. Is the salty cod that they're famous for. Maybe the national dish, actually. I want to get there. Let me go down this side. Okay, I found where I'm going to sit. On one of these benches here. With the flowers. Right, first we're going to try this bacalhau cake. The lady made a point of telling me that you can eat this white thing. Oh, tastes nice. It's starting to get a bit more cheesy. It doesn't taste super strong and salty, which is what I thought it would. It tastes quite nice. Next, from the pinhao pastry place, I bought a couple things, maybe too many. Because I started ordering these other pastries and then I realized that I hadn't actually gotten the ovos moles, which is the main one. So this, I think, is what an ovos moles actually is. Ugh, this is way too much. And then I got one of these things. They all had ovos moles in the name. This one is called surprise ovos moles. It looks to just be like a meringue type thing. Probably too much for me to have. Alright, I'm going to try this cone one. And then I'll have to save the meringue looking one for later. It's way too much. I didn't expect it to be so sweet. This is literally coated in honey. I don't know why I didn't expect it to be so sweet. I definitely should not have ordered all three. The egg is like... The egg tastes about what you'd expect it to. But the outside is so strong you can hardly taste the inside. Now walking back to the station, it was like a 20-minute walk. The station unfortunately isn't in the city centre. I would say today's been a very productive day considering how late we started. I managed to get everything done on my list even though I thought it wasn't possible. I love these tiled buildings. Blue tiles.
A 1-hour train ride later, I was back in Porto and decided to go for a walk down towards Ribeira. I was looking for a particular Portuguese restaurant which turned out to be closed, but in any case, when I arrived, my attention was immediately seized by the scene of the street in front of me, whose downsloping incline seemed to shepherd me in the same direction where all the crowds were gathering. At the bottom of this street, I was unexpectedly met with one of the most iconic views of Porto, looking up at the Luís I Bridge. Of course, I was well aware that this famous bridge existed, but given my short time planned in Porto, I had not been expecting to find time to visit it, and therefore hadn't looked up where it was geographically. So it was quite a pleasant surprise in my quest for food to have just stumbled across the Douro riverbank, with the cellars of Vila Nova de Gaia right across the waters from me. Crossing the bridge via the lower pedestrian level, I made my way up a steep hill to a garden, Jardim de Moro, which seemed to be the #1 place where everyone in the city had decided to congregate, with beautiful views of Ribeira now from the opposite side. I then crossed the bridge back towards the main city part of Porto, on the top level this time that was shared with the city's flashy trams.
Look at the moon, look how nice that is. Now, this is a Wednesday night. This is like our South Bank, I suppose. It's really bustling for a Wednesday night. Like I guess they really have a long strip where everyone can go out for dinner. But also, I don't know how many of these people are tourists as well. Well, look, I suppose I'm far away from where I started in Ribeira, but apparently I'm only 300 meters away from Salvento. So we should be able to make it back. We still need to find somewhere for dinner though. That's a struggle at the moment. I've decided on the good burger. Probably not traditional Portuguese, but it's 10:50. If I wait any longer, all the stores that close at midnight are gonna close already. El gato. El gato. Oh, bye-bye el gato. Walking up the stairs for the 5th time today. Very tired, but we have some good news. The stain is out of the shirt and the hat. It may be now like maroon coloured instead of navy blue because I've bleached it like a billion times, but the stain is gone, and same as the shirt, stain is gone. I did not think I'd be able to salvage it, but I have. I'm ready to dig in. We have some wings. This is all from the good burger. Is that like a smoky barbecue kind of flavour? And then we have our burger. I'm very glad to be all tidied up, all cleaned up, and ready to finally relax and eat. Reflecting on the events of the past few days, at this point of my trip, my predominant emotion was simply relief. I was utterly exhausted already, as what had been supposed to be an easy day yesterday after my long 36-hour 3-flight journey had turned into a whole saga of trying to procure cleaning material to clean my clothes, hat, backpack and everything else that had fallen victim to my projectile munt. But I had managed to pick myself back up and spend not only a productive day in Aveiro but also exploring the night views of Porto. I had to sacrifice proper meals to accomplish this. I really hadn't been able to try anything Portuguese on either of my 2 nights, due to the restaurants closing fairly early, but after several trips to the laundromat, I was now feeling comfortable that everything was clean and I could have a hard reset prior to the next leg of the trip. And so, with all of this done, I finally collapsed into bed and fell asleep, readying myself for the most action-packed part of my itinerary that was to come.